My sister told my 11-year-old son at the family barbecue, "Sweetheart, the pool is for kids who belong here." She smiled. My son froze with his towel in his hands. I stood up, took his hand. "Let's go, buddy." Next week, I posted photos of our Disney cruise, balcony suite, island excursions, VIP dining. $24,500 total. My sister called panicked. "Where did that money come from?" I replied, "Easy, I paused paying your car loan." The towel was in my son's hands when my sister knelt down to his eye level and smiled and said the sentence that ended the afternoon and started the cruise. Cove was standing at the edge of the pool. My parents' backyard pool. The in-ground pool with the blue tile border and the concrete deck and the diving board that Slade installed the summer Wren turned 12. The pool where the family swims at every summer barbecue. The pool where Wren's 2 kids were already in the water splashing and laughing and doing the things that children do in pools on Saturday afternoons in July in Tampa when the temperature is 93 degrees and the water is the only place that makes sense. Cove was holding his blue beach towel in both hands. He was wearing his swim trunks. His goggles were on his forehead. He was ready. He was standing at the edge of the pool, waiting for the moment to jump in, the moment that 11-year-old boys calculate by watching the other kids and finding the gap between the splashing where the entry will not collide with a cousin, and the gap was there, and the moment was now, and Wren stepped between the moment and the water. She knelt down. She put her hand on Cove's shoulder. She smiled. The smile of a woman who is about to say something cruel and wants the cruelty to look like kindness. The smile that coats the blade so the cutting looks like care. "Sweetheart, the pool is for kids who belong here. Your cousins live here. You are visiting. Visitors wait until the family is done. Your mom can find you a towel for the hose out front if you want to cool off." The hose out front. The sentence that redirects an 11-year-old boy from a pool to a garden hose, from the backyard to the front yard, from the family to the outside. The hose is the alternative my sister offered to a child standing in swim trunks at the edge of a pool where his cousins were already swimming. The hose is not a pool. The hose is not water. The hose is the humiliation offered as a solution. The solution that says, "You do not belong in this water, but here is some other water, lesser water, hose water, the water of kids who do not belong." Cove froze. The freezing of an 11-year-old who has just been told by his aunt that the pool is not for him. The towel was in both hands. The goggles were on his forehead. The swim trunks were on his body. Everything on the boy said, "I am here to swim." Everything from the aunt said, "You are not." Opal was on the patio. My mother, 61 years old. She had heard the sentence. She was sitting in a lounge chair with a glass of iced tea and the expression of a woman who has heard her daughter tell her grandson that the pool is for kids who belong here and whose expression did not change, because the expression is the agreement, and the agreement is the permission. And the permission was given before the sentence was spoken, because the permission has been the pattern for 11 years. Slade was at the grill. My father, 65 years old. He was flipping chicken breasts and not looking at the pool. The not looking was the contribution. The same contribution Slade makes to every moment where Cove is excluded, the grill, the newspaper, the TV, the anything other than the thing that is happening. Wren's husband Dale was in the pool with Wren's 2 kids. He had heard the sentence. He continued swimming. The continuing was the endorsement. The endorsement of a man whose wife has just told his nephew to use the garden hose while his own children splash in the pool. Wren stood up from the kneeling and turned to me. I was at the patio table. I had been cutting watermelon for the bebek. The watermelon I brought because I bring food to every family gathering. I bring the watermelon. I bring the potato salad. I bring the dessert tray. I bring the cooler with the extra ice. The bringing is the contribution that nobody sees because the seeing is reserved for the arriving, and the arriving is Ren's entrance, and Ren's entrance is the Lexus in the driveway, the kids in matching swimsuits, the pool bag with the monogrammed towels, the Lexus I pay for, the entrance I fund, the arriving I make possible. Do not make this a scene, Alva. He is fine. He can wait. Not every child gets to jump in every pool. That is a lesson. And frankly, if you had your own pool, this would not be an issue. But you do not. So your son waits. The sentence added 2 more blades. If you had your own pool and your son waits. The sentence was delivered in front of 8 people. Opal at the patio table with her iced tea, Slade at the grill with his spatula, Dale in the pool with his kids, Ren's 2 children splashing in the shallow end, and 2 family friends sitting beside me who had frozen with their forks in the air. Because the freezing is what people do when they witness a sentence that should not have been spoken, and the witnessing is the not knowing what to say, and the not knowing produces the frozen fork. 8 people heard my sister rank the children by pool ownership and place my son below the waterline. I did not argue. I did not raise my voice. I did not push past Ren and put Cove in the water. I did not say I pay for the car you drove here in, or the phone in your pocket is on my plan, or any of the sentences that a mother has loaded behind her teeth when her sister kneels down and tells her son that the pool is for kids who belong. I set down the watermelon knife. I wiped my hands on the dish towel. I stood up. I walked to the pool edge. I knelt down to Cove. I looked at him. The goggles on his forehead, the towel in his hands, the swim trunks that are ready for water that will not receive him. Let's go, buddy, 3 words. The 3 words were not a retreat. The 3 words were a redirect. The redirect was, we are leaving this pool and we are going somewhere else, and the somewhere else is going to be better than this pool. And the better is going to cost $24,500, and the $24,500 is going to come from the car loan I have been paying for the woman who just told my son to use the garden hose. Cove rolled up his towel. He put his goggles in his pocket. He walked with me to the car. He buckled in. I drove home. The driving was 12 minutes of a boy holding a rolled-up beach towel in his lap and not speaking, because the not speaking is what 11-year-old boys do when they have been told they do not belong, and the telling was, in front of their cousins, and the cousins are in the water, and the boy is in a car. He spoke at minute 9. Mom, why did Aunt Ren say I do not belong? You belong everywhere, Cove, everywhere, then why could I not swim? Because Aunt Ren made a mistake, and the mistake is hers, not yours. The pool was big enough. The pool was big enough. The sentence that an 11-year-old uses when the exclusion has no physical explanation, because the pool is 20 by 40 feet and 4 kids is not crowded, and the not crowded is the proof that the exclusion was not about space. The exclusion was about classification. And the classification was, your cousins belong. You do not. Welcome to Family Secret Tales, where the person who manages a dental office budget for a living is about to reallocate the family budget. And the reallocation is a Disney cruise for the boy who was told the pool is for kids who belong. If your family has ever told your child they do not belong in a space you helped fund, subscribe now. Because the cruise photos are coming, and the car loan is paused, and the pool on deck 12 does not have a guest list. My name is Alva Leaf. I am 38 years old. I am the office manager at Bayshore Family Dental in Tampa, Florida. I manage billing, insurance claims, scheduling, accounts payable, and accounts receivable for a practice that sees 300 patients per month. My salary is $58,000 a year. I manage $1.4 million in annual revenue. I reconcile accounts. I track every dollar. The tracking is the skill, and the skill is about to be applied to the family. My coworker, Isla, is 46. She has been in dental administration for 22 years. She is the person I called from my kitchen at 7 p.m., standing at the counter with the watermelon I brought home because the watermelon was cut but never served because the serving ended when the pool sentence ended the bubbock. She told him the pool is for kids who belong, while kneeling, while smiling, while her kids were already in the water, and then she told me he can use the garden hose. The garden hose. The garden hose. 3 seconds of silence from Isla. Then, you pay her car loan. You pay your parents' cable. You pay her phone bill. The woman whose car loan you pay just told your son to use the garden hose instead of the pool. Stop paying the car loan. Take the boy on a trip. Let the car loan fund the trip the pool should have been. Isla is right. The car loan is the funding. The trip is the redirect. And the redirect is the cruise. Isla added one more thing before hanging up. She knelt down. She smiled. She put her hand on his shoulder. The kneeling and the smiling and the touching are the theater. The theater makes the cruelty look like concern. Your sister performed the exclusion as parenting advice. It was not parenting advice. It was a gate. The kneeling was the gate. The gate was locked. The key was the car loan, and the key is about to be removed. The favoritism in this family is measured in water. Ren's kids swim first. Ren's kids eat first. Ren's kids open gifts first at Christmas. Ren's kids sit at the main table at Thanksgiving, while Cove sits at the folding table in the den with a paper plate and a plastic fork. The folding table is the overflow. The overflow is the place where children who do not belong sit. Cove has been at the folding table for 6 Thanksgivings. Ren is 35. She married Dale 4 years ago. Dale works in commercial real estate and earns $112,000 a year. Ren does not work. Ren has not worked since the wedding. Ren drives a Lexus RX 350, whose loan is co-signed by the sister who earns $58,000. The woman who earns $0 drives a Lexus funded by the woman who earns $58,000, and the woman who earns $0 told the $58,000 woman's son to use the garden hose. When Ren's daughter started dance classes last year, Opal attended every recital. 3 recitals, 90 minutes each. When Cove placed 3rd in his school science fair for a project on water filtration that took 3 weeks and 4 trips to Home Depot, Opal said that is nice. Cove and turned to Ren to ask about the next dance recital. The that is nice lasted 1.5 seconds. The dance recital question lasted 4 minutes. The disparity is the architecture of this family. And the architecture has been standing for 11 years, and the architecture put a boy at a pool edge with a towel and told him the pool is not for him. When I graduated from my dental administration certificate program at Hillsborough Community College, the first in my family to complete a post-secondary credential, Opal said, "Good. Now you can get benefits." When Ren announced her engagement to Dale, Opal threw a party with 32 guests and a catered dinner and a toast that lasted 6 minutes. My credential was 1 sentence. Ren's engagement was 32 guests. The ratio is the pattern. And the pattern extends to the grandchildren because the pattern is inherited. Cove is 11. He reads chapter books in the car. He builds model kits at the kitchen table. He placed 3rd in the science fair with a project that demonstrated how activated charcoal filters contaminants from tap water. The project cost $67 in materials. The project took 3 weeks. The project is on a shelf in his bedroom next to a blue ribbon. Nobody in the family has seen the project or the ribbon because the family does not visit Cove's bedroom. The family visits Ren's pool. My ex-husband lives in Orlando. He calls Cove on Tuesdays. He sends $530 on the 15th. The $530 and the Tuesdays are his. The rest is mine. Every beach towel, every pair of goggles, every swim trunk, every model kit, every science fair supply, every $67 charcoal filter project. Mine, what my family does not know is what I fund. Ren's car loan, a Lexus RX 350, $420 a month. I co-signed 2 years ago because Ren's credit score was 560 after 3 missed credit card payments, and the 560 was not enough for the Lexus, and the not enough became my signature at the dealership on Dale Mabry Highway. 2 years, $10,080. The Lexus that Ren drives to yoga and Target, and the parents' house for barbecues where her children swim in the pool, and my son is told to use the garden hose. The Lexus exists because the garden hose boy's mother co-signed the loan. Parents' cable and streaming, $155 a month for 3 years, $5,580. Cable $95, Netflix/Hulu $60, all on my card. The screens that play the evening news and the cooking shows are screens powered by the daughter, whose son was told the pool is for kids who belong. Ren's phone, on my family plan, $80 a month for 2 years, $1,920. The phone Ren uses to post Instagram photos of her kids in the pool where my son was told he does not belong. Posted from a phone whose monthly bill is paid by the mother of the boy who was excluded. Total invisible support, $10,080 car plus $5,580 cable plus $1,920 phone, $17,080, plus the ongoing $655 per month from the woman whose son uses the garden hose. The cruise, I had been saving for a cruise for 14 months, $350 per month, $4,900 saved. The cruise was supposed to be a birthday trip for Cove's 12th birthday in November, a 3-night Bahamas cruise. Budget, $3,200. Modest interior cabin. Standard dining. The cruise of a woman who earns $58,000 and saves $350 per month, and whose saving is the discipline, and the discipline is the career, and the career is managing money, and the managing is the skill. The pool sentence changed the cruise. The modest cruise was replaced by a different cruise. The different cruise was a 7-night Western Caribbean itinerary on the Disney Fantasy and a Deck 8 balcony suite with island excursions at Castaway Cay, Cozumel, and Grand Cayman, VIP dining at Remy and Palo, a water slide and splash zone unlimited pass, a photography package, and a spa day for the mother who manages the money and who just redirected the money from a Lexus to an ocean. The $350 per month in savings was joined by $655 per month in redirected family support. The $420 car loan paused as of May. The $155 cable canceled as of June. The $80 phone removed as of July. $655 per month freed. 3 months of $655 is $1,965, plus the $4,900 already saved, plus the $17,635 from 3 years of unspent annual bonuses that I had been holding as an emergency fund, the fund I had never touched because the emergencies were always the family's emergencies and never my own. The emergency that triggered the fund was not a pipe burst or a medical bill. The emergency was my son was told he does not belong at a pool. The emergency was the sentence. And the emergency fund became the cruise fund. Total cruise cost, $24,500. The $24,500 was balcony suite $8,400, island excursions $3,200, VIP dining $1,800, onboard activities and gratuities $2,100, transportation to Port Canaveral $400, shopping and souvenirs $1,600, photography package $900, spa day $6,150, water slide pass $450, port fees and taxes $3,000. Every dollar tracked. Every dollar allocated. Every dollar the product of a woman who reconciles accounts for a living and who reconciled the family accounts into a cruise ship. I booked the cruise on a Tuesday evening at my kitchen table while Cove was in his room building a model of a Saturn V rocket. I booked it on my laptop with the same focus I used to reconcile the dental office accounts receivable. The booking took 22 minutes. The booking was the most satisfying 22 minutes I had spent at that table since the science fair project. I told Cove on a Thursday evening. I picked him up from school and drove to the Bayshore Boulevard waterfront park. We sat on a bench looking at the bay. The bay that connects to the Gulf, that connects to the Caribbean, that connects to the ship that was waiting at Port Canaveral. We are going on a cruise. What? A Disney cruise. 7 nights. Bahamas and Caribbean. Balcony suite. Water slides, island excursions, VIP dining. For real? For real. When? August. The for real was the question. The question of a boy who has been told that pools are not for him and whose for real is the checking and the checking is this actually happening? Because the actually happening is not something this boy takes for granted. The actually happening required confirmation. And the confirmation was for real. He asked one more question on the bench. Does the ship have a pool? The ship has 3 pools. Can I swim in all of them? You can swim in every one. The smile that followed was not a large smile. It was a small smile. The small smile of a boy who has just been told that 3 pools are his for 7 days and whose smile is small. Because the smile is careful, and the careful is what happens when belonging has been conditional, and the conditional has taught the boy to smile small until the belonging is confirmed. The belonging would be confirmed on deck 12 on day 1 when the boy jumped in and nobody knelt down and nobody smiled a blade smile and nobody said sweetheart. I almost did not pause the car loan. The car loan is transportation. Ren has 2 kids. The Lexus carries them to school, to soccer, to dance. But the pool stopped me. The pool that had room for one more child. The pool where Cove stood at the edge with a towel and goggles and the readiness of a boy about to jump and was told the pool is not for him. The pool was 20 by 40 feet. 4 kids was not crowded. The exclusion was not about space. The exclusion was about classification. And the classification was funded by the classified. The car loan is paused. Let the classification fund the cruise. I almost left the cable active. Slade watches the evening news every night at 6. Opal watches cooking shows on Saturday mornings. But the patio stopped me. The patio where Opal sat 15 feet from the pool and heard the sentence and whose expression did not change. The expression is the permission. The permission's cable is canceled. I almost kept the phone active. But the Instagram stopped me. The Instagram where Ren posts photos of her kids in the pool, the same pool where my son was told he does not belong, posted from a phone I pay for. The phone that photographs the exclusion and publishes it as family fun. The phone is done. Welcome back to Family Secret Tales. If you were the mother who redirected a car loan payment to a Disney cruise because her son was told the pool is for kids who belong, hit subscribe. Because the cruise is booked and the photos are coming and the sister who said kids who belong is about to learn where the money went. The cruise departed from Port Canaveral on a Saturday in August. 7 nights. Western Caribbean. The Disney Fantasy. Cove and I boarded at 11 a.m. The gangway was the transition between the parking lot and the ship, between the world where pools have guest lists and the world where pools do not, between the Bebic and the ocean. The balcony suite was on deck 8, stateroom 8142. The suite had a queen bed and a pull-out couch and a bathroom with a rain shower and a balcony that overlooked the Atlantic. The balcony was 6 feet wide with 2 lounge chairs and a small table. The balcony was the first thing Cove saw when we entered the room. He walked to the sliding door. He opened it. He stepped onto the balcony. He looked at the ocean. He looked at the pool deck below, deck 12 visible from the railing. The pool was full of kids, dozens of kids. Swimming, splashing, sliding, jumping, nobody standing at the edge with a towel being told to wait. Mom, can I go to the pool? You can go to any pool on this ship. Any of them? Any of them. Any time. For 7 days. The any of them was the sentence. The sentence that undoes the pool is for kids who belong here. The sentence that says, the belonging is not conditional. And the conditional was your aunt's, and your aunt's conditional does not apply to the ocean. Cove put his blue beach towel on the balcony lounge chair. the same towel he was holding when Ren knelt down and smiled and said the pool is for kids who belong. The towel went from the pool edge to the car to the house to the cruise ship to a balcony lounge chair overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. The towel survived the pool sentence. The towel made it to the ship. He changed into his swim trunks in 45 seconds. He put his goggles on his forehead. He grabbed his room key. He was out the door and on the elevator and on deck 12 before I finished unpacking the carry-on. The speed of a boy who has been told he belongs in every pool and who is testing the belonging by going to the pool immediately, because the immediately is the test, and the test determines whether the belonging is real. The belonging was real. He jumped in. Nobody knelt down. Nobody smiled a blade smile. Nobody said, "Sweetheart, the pool is for kids who belong." The pool had room. The pool had water. The pool had a boy with goggles and a cannonball and the specific joy that an 11-year-old produces when the water is available and the availability is unconditional. I posted the first photo on Instagram at 4 p.m., 30 minutes after the ship left port. The photo was Cove on the balcony, ocean behind him, blue towel on the chair, goggles on his forehead, smile on his face. Caption: Day 1, balcony suite. My boy belongs everywhere. No tags, no mentions, just the photo and the caption and the belonging. Day 2, Castaway Cay. Disney's private island. Cove snorkeled in crystal water. He saw a stingray. He came out of the water holding his goggles with the specific expression of a boy who has just seen a stingray for the first time, and the first. Time is the magic, and the magic is the island, and the island is part of the cruise, and the cruise is part of the car loan, and the car loan is the sisters. Photo posted, Cove on the beach, snorkel gear, crystal water. Caption: Island excursion. $24,500 well spent. Day 3. VIP dining. Remy restaurant. Cove in a polo shirt at a table with a white tablecloth and a dessert tower, and a waiter who called him sir, and the sir was the word that undoes the word help, because sir is what you call a person who belongs at the table, and help is what you call a person who does not, and the waiter did not call him the help. Photo posted, Cove at the table, dessert tower, white tablecloth. Caption: VIP dining. Because every kid deserves a seat at the table. Day 4, Deck 12 water slide. Aqueduct, a water coaster that wraps around the ship. Cove rode it 11 times, 11 rides. The number is specific because I counted, and the counting was the watching, and the watching was the thing I do when my son is having the time of his life in water that nobody has excluded him from. Photo posted, Cove mid-slide, mouth open, water spraying. Caption: The pool on deck 12 has room for everyone. The photos accumulated on my feed. 340 followers, 14 family members. The photos were not tagged. The photos were not addressed to anyone. The photos were the evidence posted as vacation, and the vacation was real, and the evidence was the money. And the money was the car loan. Ren called on day 5. The call came at 9:42 a.m. while I was on the Lido deck drinking coffee and watching Cove swim in the Deck 12 pool with 30 other kids, none of whom had been asked whether they belong. The phone rang, Ren's name on the screen, the name that is on my family plan, the plan I pay for. I answered. Where did that money come from, Alva? $24,000, a balcony suite, VIP dining, island excursions. You earn $58,000 a year. Where did you get $24,000 for a cruise? Easy. I paused paying your car loan. The silence lasted 4 seconds. 4 seconds of a woman on the other end of a phone, processing the sentence she just heard, and connecting the car loan to the cruise, and the cruise to the car loan, and the connection is, the money that was going to the Lexus is now going to the ocean. You did what? The $420 a month I have been paying on your Lexus for 2 years. I paused it. 3 months ago. The payment has not been made since May. Your loan is 3 months delinquent. The lender has sent 2 notices to the address on file, which is your address, which means the notices are in your mailbox or your recycling or wherever you put mail you do not open. The car loan funded the cruise. The cruise is beautiful. Cove is swimming on deck 12 right now. The pool has room for everyone. Nobody has asked him if he belongs. You cannot do that. That is my car. My credit is on that loan. Your credit is on the loan because my signature is on the loan. I co-signed because your credit score was 560. Without my cosign, the Lexus does not exist. And without my monthly payment, the Lexus is 3 months delinquent. The delinquency is in the system. The lender's notices are at your house. And the money that would have prevented the delinquency is on a cruise ship in the Western Caribbean, funding a balcony suite for the boy your pool did not have room for. This is insane. Over a pool? Over a woman kneeling in front of my 11-year-old son and telling him the pool is for kids who belong here. Over the suggestion that he use the garden hose to cool off. Over the classification of my son as a visitor in a family he shares blood with. Over the smile you used while delivering the sentence. Over the 8 people who heard it and the 0 people who corrected it. The pool was the last thing. The car loan is the response. Dale is going to be furious. Dale was in the pool when you said it. Dale heard the pool is for kids who belong here. Dale continued swimming. Dale's contribution to the sentence was the same as Slade's contribution to every sentence about Cove. Nothing. Dale's fury is Dale's problem. The car loan is my problem. And my problem just became your problem. You are going to ruin my credit over a child being told to wait his turn. He was not told to wait his turn. He was told he does not belong. Those are different sentences, Ren. Waiting your turn means you will swim after the other kids are done. Not belonging means the pool is not for you. You said the second one. And you added the garden hose. And you added if you had your own pool, this would not be an issue. The sentences are on record. The sentences are the reason. And the reason is on a cruise ship right now, swimming on deck 12, where nobody has asked whether he belongs. I will tell Mom and Dad. Mom was on the patio when you said it. Mom's expression did not change. Mom's cable is also canceled, effective last week. $155 a month. 3 years. $5,580 from me. Done. And Dad was at the grill. Dad has not acknowledged Cove's existence at a family gathering in 3 years. Dad's contribution to the Bebic was chicken breasts and silence. Tell them both. The cable is dark, the phone is off my plan, and the car loan has been delinquent since May. I looked at the deck 12 pool. Cove was doing a cannonball off the side. The splash was large. The splash was the splash of a boy who jumps into water without asking permission, because the water does not require permission. The pool on deck 12 does not have a guest list. Every kid belongs, including the one your car payment sent there. The killing line landed on a cruise ship in the Caribbean at 9:47 a.m., delivered through a phone whose bill I pay. To a woman whose car loan I paused, about a boy who is swimming in a pool where nobody asks whether he belongs. I ended the call. Opal called on day 6. I answered because the answering was the delivering, and the delivering was overdue. Your sister says you stopped paying her car loan and used the money for a cruise. I stopped paying the car loan, the cable, and the phone. I redirected the money. The money went to a 7-night Western Caribbean cruise for the boy who was told the pool is for kids who belong. The money went to a balcony suite and island excursions and VIP dining and a water slide pass. The money went to a week of pools that do not have guest lists. This is petty, Alva. She told him to wait his turn. She told him the pool is for kids who belong here, Mom, not wait your turn. Belong, she told him visitors wait until the family is done. She told him to use the garden hose. She knelt down and smiled and put her hand on his shoulder and told an 11-year-old that the pool in his grandparents' backyard, the backyard of the family he shares blood with, is not for him. And you were on the patio with iced tea and your expression did not change. You heard the sentence, and you did not say, "Ren, let him swim." You did not say, "There is room." You did not stand up. I did not hear what she said exactly. You were 15 feet away. The patio is 15 feet from the pool. The sentence was delivered at the volume of a woman kneeling next to a child. You heard it, and if you did not hear the words, you heard the result, which was your grandson walked away from the pool with a towel in his hands and goggles on his forehead and the expression of a boy who has been told he does not belong. You saw the walking away. You saw the expression, and you did not stand up. The not standing is the same as the saying, and the not standing's cable bill was on my card. The card is canceled. Opal did not respond. The not responding was the first time Opal had been on the receiving end of a monologue that includes dollar amounts and dates and the specific language of a woman who manages $1.4 million in dental office revenue and who has applied the managing to the family budget. The fallout arrived the way a cruise sails, steadily, visibly, and with the specific momentum that cannot be stopped once the ship has left port. Ren checked her mailbox on day 6 of the cruise. She had not checked it in weeks because Dale handles the mail and Dale had not handled the mail because Dale assumed the car loan was being paid, because Dale assumed the sister-in-law was paying, because Dale has assumed the sister-in-law was paying for 2 years because the assuming is. The entitlement and the entitlement does not check mailboxes. 2 lender notices. One from 60 days ago, one from 30 days ago, both addressed to Ren, both referencing loan ending 7234, both stating that the loan was delinquent and that continued non-payment would result in default proceedings and potential vehicle recovery. The Lexus RX 350 that was parked in the driveway was 60 days from a repossession notice. Ren called Dale. The call lasted 11 minutes. The first 4 minutes were Ren explaining that the car loan payments had stopped 3 months ago. The next 3 minutes were Dale processing the information, which included the sentence, "She stopped paying because of the pool." The final 4 minutes were Dale calling the lender on a 3-way call. The lender confirmed the cosigner's payments had ceased. The loan was $1,260 delinquent. The account was flagged. Dale made the 3 delinquent payments in one transfer, $1,260. The payment brought the loan current. The loan would need to remain current going forward without the cosigner's contribution, which meant Dale would be making the $420 monthly payment himself, which meant $420 per month from a household that earns $112,000 but spends $108,000 because the spending is the lifestyle, and the lifestyle includes Ren's yoga membership, Ren's salon appointments, the kids' travel soccer, and the general overhead of a family that lives at $112,000, as if $112,000 is $150,000. The delinquency was already on Ren's credit report. The 560 that was already low dropped to 510. The 510 would remain for 7 years. 7 years is the duration of a credit report entry, and the entry was the shape of the pool is for kids who belong here measured in credit points. The cable went dark at the parents' house the same week. $155 per month. Slade's evening news vanished mid-broadcast on a Tuesday. Opal's cooking show stopped loading. The dark screen joined the dark cable box, joined the dark streaming, and the dark was the $155 per month that had been invisible and was now visible, and the visible was the absence, and the absence was the daughter. Slade opened his own internet account the following week. $118 per month with equipment rental. The streaming required separate subscriptions, Netflix $15.49, Hulu $17.99, total $151.48 per month. The $151.48 was $3 less than what I had been paying, but the $151.48 was now Slade's responsibility, and the responsibility was the first bill Slade had managed himself in 3 years, because the managing had been the daughter's job, and the daughter was on a cruise ship watching her son do cannonballs. Wren's phone was removed from my plan on day 3 of the cruise. Her Instagram went quiet. Wren purchased a prepaid plan at $35 per month. The first thing she saw on the new phone was my Instagram post from day 4. The pool on deck 12 has room for everyone. The post had 47 likes and 6 comments. Cousin Britt, that boy deserves every wave. Aunt June, who told an 11-year-old he doesn't belong at a pool? The questions were rhetorical. The questions were the family learning the context without being told the context. Because the context was in the photos and the captions and the 14 family members who follow the feed and who were at the Bebic or heard about the Bebic and who can do the arithmetic, pool sentence, plus cruise photos, plus I paused paying your car loan equals the woman who was excluded, funded the exclusion, and then redirected the funding to the ocean. Wren did not comment on any post. The not commenting was the first silence Wren had produced on social media in 4 years. The silence was louder than any comment, because the silence confirmed the woman who said the pool is for kids who belong cannot respond to the pool on deck 12 has room for everyone, because the responding would require the admitting, and the admitting is the one thing Wren does not do. Day 7. Last morning. The ship docked at Port Canaveral at 7 a.m. During the 7 days, Cove swam in 4 different bodies of water: the Deck 12 family pool, the Aqueduct water slide, the Deck 11 quiet pool, and the Castaway Cay beach snorkel zone. 4 bodies of water. 0 guest lists. 0 kneeling ants. 0 garden hose alternatives. The water was available, and the boy was in it, and the belonging was the water, and the water never asked. On day 5, after I ended the call with Wren, Cove came up from the Deck 12 pool, with his goggles pushed up on his forehead and water dripping from his hair, and the expression of a boy who has been swimming for 2 hours, and whose body is tired, and whose face is the opposite of tired. Mom, a kid from Texas taught me how to do a backflip off the side. Did you land it? Twice. The first time I belly flopped, but the second time I tucked tighter and went all the way around. That is because you practiced. The kid said I was good. He said I should try the diving board tomorrow. The kid from Texas did not ask Cove where he lives, or whether he belongs at the pool, or whether his mother has her own pool, or whether his family considers him a guest or the help. The kid from Texas said, "You are good. Try the diving board." The kid from Texas delivered, in one sentence, more belonging than Wren has delivered in 11 years. The belonging was not a classification or a kneeling or a smile that coats a blade. The belonging was a backflip. And the backflip was the boy's, and the boy landed it on the second try, and the landing was the belonging confirmed. Cove was on the balcony on the last morning. He was leaning on the railing, watching the port come into view. He was wearing a t-shirt he bought in Cozumel, a blue shirt with a sea turtle, the first souvenir bought with his own spending money. His blue beach towel was on the lounge chair behind him. The towel that started at a pool edge in Tampa, where his aunt told him he does not belong. The towel that traveled from the pool to the car to the house to the ship. The towel that spent 7 mornings on a balcony watching sunrises and 7 evenings drying a boy who had swum in every pool on every deck without being asked whether he belongs. Mom? Yeah? The pools on the ship never close. They do not. And nobody said I could not swim. Nobody said that. Because on the ship, everybody belongs. Everywhere, Cove, not just the ship. Everywhere, the everywhere was the sentence. The sentence a mother gives to a boy who has spent 7 days learning that the belonging is not conditional. The conditional was his aunt's invention. The invention was rejected by a mother who reallocated a car loan to a cruise and posted the photos and answered the phone and said, "I paused paying your car loan." The pausing funded the belonging. The belonging was 7 days of pools without guest lists and a backflip taught by a kid from Texas and an ocean that does not exclude. The towel came home. It is on a hook in Cove's bathroom now. The blue beach towel that was at a pool edge in Tampa, where a boy was told he does not belong, and that was on a lounge chair on a cruise ship where nobody asked. The towel is the thread. The thread runs from the Bebeki pool to the Atlantic Ocean, from the garden hose to the aqueduct water slide. From the pool is for kids who belong here to everybody belongs. The towel is on the hook. The boy is home. The belonging was always the boy's. The belonging just needed a ship and a mother who manages money for a living and who managed the money from a Lexus to a cruise and from a pool that excludes to a pool that does not. The towel is enough. The boy is enough. The belonging was always his. It just needed a mother who manages money, and who managed the money from a Lexus to a cruise, and from a pool that excludes to a pool that does not. And the belonging is enough. Welcome back to Family Secret Tales. If this story reminded you that the person who pays the car loan decides where the money goes, and that a boy with a towel in his hands deserves a pool, not a garden hose, share it tonight. Hit subscribe, drop a comment, and tell me, has your family ever told your child they do not belong in a space you helped fund? I will see you in the next one.